We're looking at the Audiolab 6000A integrated amplifier, and it's a budget amplifier, 599. So it's in that sort of middle area. It's not super cheap, it's not, at the top end, sort of in that middle area, 599. And this video really shouldn't exist. I had no plans to do it. I wasn't even going to do a 6000A review. But a number of you guys, said to me, can you do one? So here it is. So just a quickie for you, unplanned, an added bonus, you might say. So we're looking at, as I say, an integrated amplifier here. It includes some extra bits. You've got Bluetooth in there. You'll see see that's the aerial. I'm doing an impression of a Bluetooth aerial. What do you reckon? So that's it. Little aerial sticks at the back. I'll put a picture on the on here somewhere. It's going on now maybe. So there's a Bluetooth aerial at the back. There's also a phono amp built in. There's a DAC and all the usual stuff. The amplifier itself looks like a budget amp. It doesn't look wow. It doesn't look amazing. You don't go, Italian styling. You don't say any of that. It just looks like, it's a budget amp. It looks like a budget amp. So where's the money being spent then, if it doesn't look particularly special? I mean, it looks nice, but the money, I think, is being spent inside. And what you've got inside, there's some intriguing stuff going on here. So where should we start? Well, let's start with the fiddly bits first. The phono amp is good. It's not amazing, but built-in phono amps tend not to be amazing. This one is fine. If you are low on budget, you got your amp and you got your speakers and your turntable or whatever, and there's nothing else in the pocket, the built-in phono amp is perfectly usable, and it's fine and sounds okay. An external one is better, but as far as internals go, this one is fine and it'll do you for now. Upgrade to an external if you can at some near point in the future. Okay, Bluetooth, very good. Quite surprised, really. Again, Bluetooth itself per se is not the greatest delivery system in the world. Anything that streams from a phone or a tablet or anything like that, just the way it's done is not the best in the world. It's fine. It's okay. It's a good lifestyle choice. How the 6000A implements that, it does that very nicely, actually. I used an iPhone 8, so that's me pretending to be an iPhone 8. I must have these things to show you, but pretend my hand is an iPhone 8 just for now, eh? Go on, just have a go. See, iPhone 8. And the Bluetooth paired very quickly, so no issues there. The actual sound quality from Bluetooth was very nice. Now, when I say that, there was no edginess. I used a couple of lossy files. I did a Kylie and Nina Simone, I think I used. It was very nice. What was good, the good thing about this 6000A, how the 6000A implemented Bluetooth was that it used very large, very spacious soundstage. And now when I say soundstage, I mean the soundstage is where the music comes from. And soundstage can be different on different amplifiers. Some amplifiers have soundstage in a very sort of like little letterbox size space, or quite constricted and claustrophobic, and they can come from like that area and not outside of these areas at all, but within, and the music comes from like there. Not with the 6000A. You're not going to see my hands, because it was like out there, and it came in from that point. So it's quite spacious and it's big. So the soundstage from Bluetooth was quite impressive because of that. So because of all that space on offer, the instruments were quite spaced out, which meant that Bluetooth sounded good. It sounded quite grand, slightly epic even. So that was nice. And it gave Bluetooth every opportunity to do well. So that was a good thing. So that's Bluetooth. There's your phono amp. Let's go on to the DAC. The DAC was good, more than good. It was very good indeed. I thought it was it took the personality of the amp, which I'll get to in a sec, but it retained the personality of the amp. There was lots of detail. There was low noise. That's what really got me about the DAC. Low noise. Stuffing a DAC inside an amp is not always the best thing to do. What Audiolab have done is they've kept that sort of well, when you put a DAC inside an amp, what you risk is electronic noise migrating from the DAC to the amp, and the amp bits, the power supply, from there to the DAC, it all gets mixed up, and you get this veiling sort of effect where fine detail is slightly masked. I'm talking about the fine stuff now, you know, just the reverb tail is always a classic, you know, the after effects of hitting a cymbal, that sort of stuff, that can be veiled a little bit, masked, damped slightly. You don't really get that with the 6000A, and that's a great thing. So the DAC feels as though it's got room to maneuver. Low noise, great dynamic reach, superb mid-range, bass, very strong, love it. The thing with the DAC is that it comes with, and this is an odd one, and I did worry about this, it comes with 3 filters. The 3 filters is a minimum phase, a slow roll-off, and a fast roll-off. And I thought, what on earth do they mean? Turned out that the minimum phase is supposed to be an analog sound. Now I thought that sounded great. An analog sort of non-edgy, non-metallic. That sounded great. It turned out to be not so great, the minimum phase. This particular filter on the DAC. It was overly damped. It was like listening inside cotton wool. Didn't like it. Not my thing. Fast roll-off, the filter for the DAC, the fast roll-off filter, was supposed to be your default, your sort of flat line. It was supposed to be your basic sound approach. But that sounded a little bit edgy. So it was anything but sort of flat response, as it were. Again, not a favourite of mine. So that's the fast roll off. A little bit edgy, but you might like that. You know, everybody's ears are different. I didn't really appreciate that side. Like I say, just a bit edgy for me. I preferred the slow roll off, which had a far more naturalistic, organic delivery. So that was my favourite. Yours might be different. There's no right or wrong in this sort of thing, which is why the filters offer the choices that they do. So that's they are rather the trio. That's the trio. I can't talk, can I? So that's the trio of filter choice that the DAC has. So what of the amplifier as a whole, generally speaking? You know, you plug something in, how's it going to sound? Once you've got your speakers up or your turntable in or your CD player plugged in, how does the amplifier itself sound? It sounds brilliant. I love it. The thing is, when you have any item, any hi-fi item that's been built under £1,000, it's full of compromises. Because the build budget, that is, you know, the amount, when a company builds anything, any hi-fi, they've got a certain amount of cash, right? Because their boss says, right, this is going to, I mean, in this case, it's 599, okay? So he's come to the team, the design team, and he said, right, guys, this is going out at 599, so you've got this amount of cash, okay? That's the amount of cash I'm going to give you to build this box, because any more than that, it's not going to go out at 599, it's going to go out at 650 or 700, right? So you're limited to the amount of cash you've got. That's it, okay? There's your bag of coins, go for it. See ya. And away he goes. Okay, so the team is left with restricted budget. That's all they've got to build this box, okay? Under 1,000, it tends to be full of compromises. you haven't got all the money to spend. It's not like, if you've got like a £15,000 turntable, you're pretty unrestricted. You can sort of do what you want, and you can have a fine time. But with a 599 integrated amplifier, you've got to make choices. Certain areas may suffer, certain other areas may benefit. So what you get under £1,000, I know there are exceptions, and it doesn't always work out this way, but in broad terms, you tend to be faced with amplifiers under £1,000 that maybe are good in some areas, okay in other areas, and just downright bad in some other areas. It's very rare that you have an amplifier which is good at everything. A lot of amplifiers, I find, tend to emphasize, if they're pretty good, that is, they're really good around the mid-range, they're okay in the bass, pretty good in the mid-range, good detail upper mids, good stuff on the treble as well. So if I'm thinking of one or two good amplifiers sub £1,000, that's what they tend to do. The difference with the 6000A is its tonal balance. What do I mean by that? In this category, what I'm talking about is more bass. The bass on the 6000A has been lifted. It's been accentuated. It's part of the mix. It's actually been delivered into the party. Okay, you don't often get this, and when you do get it, often the mid-range suffers a bit. It becomes like a party animal beast, a techno machine, a heavy metal box, where you have lots of bass and not much detail. The mid-range sort of suffers, or vice versa, as I say. Not with the 6000A. There's a great and spookily balanced tonality. So you will get with the 6000A strong bass, meaty bass, but it won't dominate the sound. It's quite disciplined. It's not boomy. It's strong and confident, and in fact, the 6000A epitomizes confidence. That's what I get from the 6000A, confidence. Quite authoritative. It really feels in control. And the 6000A, it takes bass and fits it nicely with detail. So you never lose the detail. It never swamps the mid-range. It never swamps the detail. The detail is always there. You never lose it. You never feel as though, with all that bass coming, whoa, where did the guitars go? Where did the cymbals go? No, you don't get that. You get that balance. So all the detail is there. You just get this bass which just sort of fits in Lego-like there. It's part of the soundstage. Jazz hands. So what you have with the 6000A is power, but you also have detail. You have grunt, but you also have delicacy. You have this upper mid-range elegance, but you have that lower frequency foundation. It's a great balance. I can't remember. I'm pausing for effect here, guys. I'm pausing for effect, and I can't remember another amplifier which is ever give me that under £1,000. I've heard some superb sub £1,000 amps. A lot of them, when I say superb, to me, to my ears, that means great upper mid-range detail, fine, elegant treble, good quality bass. But the Audiolab just ramps it up a little bit. It gives more grunt to that bass without swamping all the detail. So everything's in, with the 6000A, everything is in its place. Everything has a space of its own. Nothing dominates one thing or the other. Everything fits very nicely. In short, the 6000A sounds expensive. It sounds more than 599. So you add the Bluetooth, you add the built-in phono amp, you add that very nice DAC, as I say, with those M-DAC enhancements, you've got yourself a quality amplifier. And that's why, under £1,000, the 6000A is the one I would pick. no problem. If you want more, if you want a little bit of extra detail, I mean, I've given you all the essentials in this video, but if you just want some more fine detail, I'm going to put a link below for a magazine-like structured, formal review, which I've got on my site. You can click on that now below, and if you click on that, take you to the site, you'll see a formal review, high-res images. It's all there if you want that. Everything's in this vid, but if you want more detail on top, click that link below, okay? And it's all there for you. In the meantime, please comment below. I'd love to know if you've got one. I mean, this, you know, the 6000A has been out a little while. This is why I didn't plan to do the review. So tell me what your thoughts are. If you have a 6000A, tell me if you disagree and why. And if you're planning to get one, love to know. Tell me about that too. And in the meantime, be polite, please. No swearing. This is a family channel. And I would love to see you in the next video. So